Love between humans is just not easy. And without great examples or education about emotions, communication, sex, and what keeps love alive, it's too easy to be disheartened, settle, or give up on what you want most. I believe you can have the love and intimacy you want. And having coached thousands of people on their love lives for over 20 years, I know what love can be for you. So I'm bringing you people who share vulnerably about their dating and relationship struggles and how they learn to create the most connected, fulfilling, and exciting love and sex of their lives, so you can have it too. Hello, and welcome to this episode of Practicing Love, Have the Best Love and Sex of Your Life After 40. I'm your host, Shana James, and I am thrilled to be here today with an amazing man, Keith Edwards, who is a speaker and an author, and his book, Unmasking Toward Authentic Masculinity, is so much of, I think, what we need these days. Men have been put in so many boxes and forced to be so many different ways that really kill their soul and spirit and freedom to be who they really are and the full range of themselves. So, Keith, thank you so much for doing this work.
Yeah, well, what a great intro. I love, thank you for having me. We talked before on the previous podcast. I'm excited to be back with you. And I really love the framing you just offered there, because I think one of the things that really gets in our way is when we don't realize how much men have to gain from breaking out of these confining norms and expectations.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's not always as obvious to everyone. It's very obvious what women have to gain, or people of other genders have to gain by breaking out of patriarchy or these boxes, but it's not always obvious that men also are stuck in these systems, and painfully so.
Yeah. And that's true. And I think realizing that is a really critical step in engaging men, individual men in your life, but also men as a collective group. Because I think when you have this binary, and Bell Hooks reminds us that binary thinking is dominator thinking. When we have this binary of men versus women, or feminism is for men, so therefore it must be bad for men, or even the binary of men and women and not people of other genders, it's really limiting. But then once we start to realize that men, one of the things I talk about in my book is that men are hurting.
Yeah.
And just notice how you heard that. Because what I said was men are hurting. And most people either think about how men are hurting others through violence, through sexual assault, through gun violence, through sexism, through talking over people in a meeting, through not being present, through taking up too much space. When people hear men are hurting, they either think about how men are hurting others, or they think about how men are being hurt, how men are experiencing high rates of mental health issues, dying younger, far higher rates of suicide, far less attendance in college, the struggles that boys are having around their well-being and mental health. And I think either looking at how men are hurting others or how men are being hurt is not going to serve us.
Yeah.
But if we can look at both of those, that men are hurting others, that's true, and men are being hurt at the same time. Well, what's the cause of both of those? And the cause of both of those is patriarchy and sexism, and how that's set up and organized in our culture, in rigid gender norms that don't serve anybody. Well, then that becomes a group project we're all working on together for all of our benefit. And it's not a us versus them kind of thing, but like, well, what would, so addressing patriarchy would be good for women, be good for trans folks. It'd be good for men too. Yeah. Well, that's interesting.
Right.
And I think we can unpack some of that. And I think that taps in then to men's enlightened self-interest. And when men understand how much we have to gain by breaking down these things that do benefit us.
Yeah.
Right? The privileges that I receive as a man in this world are concrete and real. And they're ruining my life every day.
Yeah.
And the more I can get free from them, it's better for me. It's better for my wife. It's better for my 2 daughters. It's better for everybody.
Yeah.
Um,
I like that you pointed to that, the paradox, right? Or that both can be true at the same
yeah.
time. And that
Yeah.
it seems like, I think often in order to shift, you would have to get rid of all of those privileges.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that's necessarily the case either. I mean, some of them, of course, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think it's as black and white as we think about it.
And I think we have to be clear about privileges. I mean, I've worked very hard in my life. I've achieved some things and I've earned some of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've received advantages that I didn't earn and don't deserve. And I've gotten some that no one should get. And I've gotten some that everyone should get and not everybody does. So I think we have to be clear about that. Can I read you one of my favorite quotes?
Please.
I think you'll know this one.
Yeah.
This is from Lilla Watson, who's an Aboriginal activist in Australia and was. And she says, if you have come here to help me, you're wasting your time. But if you have come because your liberation is bound up with mine, then let us work together.
Amazing.
And I think that's a quote that I often end talks that I give, that we're all in this together.
Yeah.
And when men are doing this for women, we often show up as savior, hero, rescuer, and that can be really toxic and really do a lot of harm. Might be coming from really good intentions, but the impact of that can be really harmful. But
so
when we
interesting,
show up
though, because there's a part of me that's like, okay, yes, and I'd rather we start there than the disinterest or the right, throwing out the window. But yes, you also point to a more powerful way, which is.
Yeah, I think there's maybe a progression from actively hateful to indifferent to I really want to be helpful.
Yes.
To this is a group project we're all working on, and how do I want to not rescue, save, or be the hero, but how do I want to work with you, with other folks for our collective liberation?
Yeah.
And what would that look like? And how would I benefit as well? Yeah. And when we understand that, we become much more effective, consistent, and sustainable in how we show up and stand up and speak out and engage. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm so imagine being your daughters and being your wife, and so grateful. And it extends far and wide beyond that.
Well, they have a lot different things to say.
Sure, they might, right? Usually in the home.
Yeah.
Different personal things to say, but can you tell us a little bit more about your wife and your daughters, or just not? How old are they? How long have you been in this relationship?
Pop quiz. My partner, my wife, we've been together for 2003. Is that 21 years?
Yeah, 21 years.
I haven't done that math. We've been married for 17.
Okay.
And we have 2 daughters, one who's 14 and in 9th grade, and another who is 12 and in 7th grade.
Nice. I have a 7th grader as well.
Mm-hmm.
Wild age it is.
Interesting times. You never know what's going to happen. It's a roller coaster every day.
It's really it pains my heart oftentimes to watch the kids and how they interact, and where I can see that insecurity that breeds, bitterness or arrogance or
shutting down.
Yes.
Yeah.
All of it breaks my heart.
I describe it as 1 foot completely in girlhood and childhood, and the other foot completely in womanhood and adulthood. And on any given day, I never know what I'm going to, any given moment, I don't know what I'm going to
You don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to get, my favorite singing along out loud to Lana Del Rey and very explicit adult concepts.
Yep.
Or if I'm going to get, remember that Disney movie? Let's watch that again. And, so.
I mean, there's something amazing about that, right? And I actually, as I think about being adults and being in romantic relationships, I think one of the things I've been noticing for myself that I'm trying to break free of is only being that adult, responsible, got to get shit done, make the world happen, take care of my kid. And to really actually try to reintegrate some of those youthful parts of myself. So in a way, as we watch our kids do that, it's like, oh, there's actually something I'm learning there. I realize as you say it.
Same. I'm not very good at play and silliness, and I'd like to integrate some more of that. But that's a challenge for me. And I'll just tell you, the difference between 12 and 14 is, and the silliness and the play and the goofiness is dramatic. And
Really?
it's really sad for me to see the 14-year-old just like me, having lost touch with a lot of that, trying to be serious and do all the things and
get it right and fit in.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So can we shift into your own relationship?
Yeah.
I mean, you have a relationship with your kids, but your romantic partnership. So really what I've been doing here in Practicing Love is talking about struggles. I've, been interviewing experts in their fields, especially in the field of leadership and relationships, because I think people don't really often hear that everybody struggles in relationship and that we have these, deep learnings and growth and wrestling, unlearnings. Exactly. Yeah. And so then I think a lot of times often people feel like, well, I'm worse off, or I'm bad at this, or, I'm no good. So if you'd be so kind as to share, something that you've struggled with in romantic relationship, and then we'll get to the learnings from there.
Yeah, I think the thing that I've been thinking about super recently, like this week, this past week, which has been a heck of a week. I think did you just say practicing love? Yeah, that's what I've been thinking about. I've been thinking about how easy it is for me, not just in my partnerships, but with my kids, with my dad, with my friends, to be frustrated with others, hurt by others, and focus on how they need to change.
Yeah.
And I'm real good at that. I'm real good at the analysis. Yeah, I'm really good at the analysis, and here's what they need to do differently. And I'm really good at, and this is why they're like that. Yeah. And here's how they need to get over that. It's about their childhood. It's about this thing, and blah, blah, blah. And they need to be different. And I think what I've been focused on super recently is letting go of how I want other people to change and focusing how I want to change in my interactions with them.
Powerful.
And, I think, I'll give a simple thing and then we can mess it up from there. But I was just showing my partner this meme as we were laying in bed on our phones. I don't know if anyone could relate to that.
Nobody else does that.
We were laying in bed on our phones, and I showed her this meme, which is being an adult is just every once in a while taking a break from your phone to complain about how your partner's always on her phone.
Okay.
And she was like, yep. So one of the things that is hard for me is when I feel like she's not present with me. And more present with her phone, and whether that's Instagram or the text message thread of her friends and things. Those things seem immediate and need her immediate attention, and then I don't feel like I get that.
Yeah.
And I think that's true, and I think continuing to raise that issue is not serving me very well.
I would venture to guess that there's a how in there, like how you raise the issue versus that you raise the issue.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think there's also just like, leave me alone, you do this too, which is also totally fair. And I think instead, the simple version, and like I said, we can mess this up, but the simple version is if I want her to put down the phone and be more present with me.
Yeah.
And as two adults with two busy jobs and two kids in middle school and high school and four sports teams for each of them,
Oh my God.
like there's not a lot of time when we are actually able to be present with each other. And so
Hmm.
when we mess those few moments up in between dinner and all the laundry and our shows, like there's a small window. Um, but if I focus on how I want her to be more present, one, I'm out of control
Uh-huh.
because I have no
You have
say
no
over
control
that.
over that, right?
Two, she just feels criticized and then defensive. And then sometimes that comes back at me about, well, you're on your phone too. You were just on your phone for the past 45 minutes. Like,
Right.
who are you? What are you doing? It's totally fair. But what I've really been focused on is one, how do I, in this example, how do I be present?
Yeah.
And even if I'm present, not needing her to then be present, but just I'm just going to be present.
Right. Just starting with, okay,
Yeah.
this is
I'm
the
just
thing I
gonna
was
be present.
asking for. This is
Yeah.
this is what I want from her. So what if I do this not just expecting an immediate return?
Which is just manipulation.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But what if I just said, well, I want her to be present, so I'm just going to be present.
Mm-hmm.
And what if I just sat here for 15 minutes and was just present with her while she
Mm-hmm.
sat over there and was on her phone?
Yeah. Have you tried it?
Yeah.
What happens?
It's not so bad. It's kind of nice, like to just be like, wow, I'm just being fully present.
Mm-hmm.
She's on her phone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here with her. This is kind of nice.
Okay. What
It's
would you
not really
say?
what I initially would have wanted, but if I can really let go of that want and
Yeah.
just be like, oh yeah, this is kind of nice.
Okay, that's an interesting point too, the letting go of wants. But what would you say to someone who's like, okay, but what I actually, I really do want, I don't want to manipulate a person, but I actually
Right.
do want them to be present with me. So eventually, does sitting here and being present, support her to be present? Or are you really purely just going for, nope, I'm actually going to almost give myself in a way what I've been asking for?
Yeah. And I think, in that moment, I'm focused on being present with her,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm also being present with myself.
Yeah.
Because I want to pick up my phone. And then I go, wow, you really want to pick up your phone? What is going on there?
Yeah.
Like you really want to get up and get a snack and you're not hungry. What is going on? So like just to sit there and just be present is not just about the other person, but it's also about yourself.
Yes.
It's also just, as you said, I just love this practicing love. I think someone in a completely different context, in a business and leadership context, was sort of sharing their journey. And someone said, very successful person, someone said, well, what was really the pivot point? This was a woman. And she said, oh, I'm very clear. And I thought it would be like when her sales racketed up, or when she published the book, or when she did this thing, or when she finally realized that she needed to do this. And I was really looking for the business tool.
Yep.
And she said, everything shifted when I stopped needing to be loved and started being loved.
Oh, I love that. I often come back to that one. I'm like, all I really want is to be love. I know that's not for everybody listening, right? That's not your aspiration or your goal, but there is something when we shift from what am I trying to get? What am I trying to, right? A relationship is a place where I'm trying to get something versus I could be this, I could co-create this, I could bring the parts that I'm wanting and then explore, experiment, right? Like see what happens versus complaining about how someone else is being.
Yeah. And I think it just shifts from, we can use her powerful example of love, my much simpler example of presence, of like when you are needy, wanting, expecting, analyzing, critiquing, evaluating, judging, like that's no fun.
Yeah.
And then you're just focused on how you're not being loved by somebody else, or how that other person is not being present with you. And we know that the human brain focuses on what it focuses on. It's not good at not focusing on things, right? Like if I say, whatever you do, don't think about pink elephants.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're thinking about pink elephants.
Pink elephant.
Right? I remember my kids used to they would say it's, thunderstorms and it's frightening. I said, yeah, you can focus on the loud booms and how it's scary, or you can focus on how it's raining and cold out there, and here you are, warm and cozy and
Warming.
dry in your bed. And so focus on like how great this is. Look, how awesome is it that you're not out there in that? And they love thunderstorms.
Yeah.
Is it going to thunderstorm? Oh, I'm so excited. I just love it. But instead of focusing on like, don't be afraid of the monster underneath the bed, like, what is it that you want to be focused on? And I think as long as you're focused on the presence that you're not getting or the love that you're not getting, then you're just paying attention to all the evidence that affirms that perspective.
Looking for the proof of that, right? I often teach people the difference between seeing the best in someone and either making an invitation or getting curious or like, hey, I see this in you and it's not what's happening, but help me understand, versus seeing the worst in someone and then cutting them down and blaming and shaming, and you always act this way and you never, it doesn't inspire someone to step up into connection or intimacy or love.
Right. Or to make the changes towards a better version of themselves. Because even if they do, they're just doing it for you, so you'll shut up and stop being so hard on them. And that's not going to stick. No. And so in my simple example, right, what if I just let go of her being present and needing that and evaluating that? And just, what if I just try and be present?
So how's it going as you're doing it? You started to say, you sit there and you're actually witnessing.
It's a new adventure. It's a new adventure, but I like it. And I think if you go to this thing of what a monumental shift to go from needing to be loved by someone else to just
being loved or loving
and just seeing what happens.
Offering
because when you're being loved, you're not doing it so that somebody else will love you back, right? You're just being loved. And if I'm going to be love, and if you are mad at me, then I'm going to be love while you're mad at me.
Yeah.
And
And I think helping people see like, okay, if you start being love enough of the time and your relationship isn't connected, or you don't feel met, or you don't feel understood, or you don't feel any of those things, there are some choice points, right? There are choice points where you have a conversation and say, this is what I want. Are you open to this? We don't just sit and be love. I don't think in this plane, right? It's a beautiful spiritual concept too, but in this plane, we don't just sit and be love and then watch someone attack us and abuse us and say like, I'm just going to stay here.
Right. But I think letting go of the attachment of someone else doing something in response is really liberating too. I mean, you're talking about really not great situations. I 100% agree. But like letting go of the expectation, because if I would have sat there for 15 minutes and tracked that it's been 15 minutes and she hasn't put down the phone, and the whole time I've been like, I'm irritated and agitated, which is super tempting to do. Tempting to do. I don't find keeping score ever helps.
No.
But if I just sit there and go, wow, I'm just going to be present. Don't need her to be present. Letting go of that. Although that was sort of the initial thing, but like, what's it like for me to be present? It's hard. It's challenging. And here's what I'm tempted to do. And here's what pulls me away. And here's what I want to think about it. But what if I just sit here and be present? What's it like to be, and to be honest, in this day and age, to sit there for 15 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
And not be on your phone and not watch TV and not listen to music and not do something.
It's a lost art.
I don't know. I don't know when the last time I was that I did that.
Wow.
But it's a mindfulness meditation practice. And so I guess that's one around presence. You could expand that to, I'm trying to think of something in between the presence and love, but how about being appreciative?
There you go.
I'd like you to be more appreciative. Well, how about I flip that to I'm just going to be more appreciative,
right?
Not as a way to get you. I'm not going to give you 5 compliments and keep track of how many you said, right? That's keeping score.
Yes.
But just like, I'm just going to be really appreciative.
Yeah. I'm going to
and I'll just see what it feels like to me. Yes. And I love to use that word of practice, because I think that's something that I think about a lot. Is when I hear practice, I think about meditation, and nobody's good at meditating.
Right.
The Dalai Lama is famous for saying, I'm a terrible meditator, which is I do it for 4 hours every morning.
Yeah.
Or yoga. Like nobody's good at yoga. But you practice. You keep doing it. You keep getting a little better. You keep refining.
You don't do it, right? At least I don't do yoga to get better at it. I do it for the practice of it.
Yeah. and to be sort of on the journey. So the practice of loving, or the practice of being present, or the practice of being appreciative, I think pulls me out of the transactional expectations.
Yes.
Brene Brown says expectations are the seeds of resentment. And so I think that's the healthy non-attachment, or Buddhists would call the middle path.
I love that.
Just doing it for, 100% focused on you. Like, I'm going to be present, or I'm going to be appreciative. How appreciative was I today? Well, not as quite appreciative as I really wanted to be this morning. So, let's focus on you and how appreciative you are. And what does it feel like to be appreciative? And what do you want to appreciate?
And then you notice, right? You notice, how much of my life is based, how much of this relationship is based in expectations? How much of this is based in stories? How much of this is based, right? Is like, what's really happening here, as opposed to just being in the frustrated, empty, lacking. Yeah. Something's lacking.
Well, and I think that's a real easy thing to do when you've known each other deeply for more than 20 years.
Yep.
Is I've got a lot of stories. I'm sure she thinks, right? Like, it's so easy to do that.
Yeah.
I don't do that with people I've just met.
No.
Because I don't know.
And for me, that is a practice. Like, noticing, I have a never always story. Yeah. What is actually happening in this moment? And I often say to couples, as I'm working with them, or single people going back into a relationship, like, okay, anytime you go into always or never, you're just going to create defensiveness. So if you keep it in this moment, this singular experience, let's discuss this. Let's figure this out. Then the always never gets to, it figures itself out.
Yeah. I often in workshops talk about beginner's mind, which is this principle from Buddhism, is let's have this conversation as though we've never had it before. And I'm thinking about leadership concepts or tools in education and things like that. But I often say, like, if you think this is easy, some people are like, beginner's mind. They roll their eyes and say, go home. And when the person you live with comes home, ask them how their day was and listen as though you don't know what they're about to say.
Actually listen.
Actually listen. And I think one of the things that I think we all know is that I'm a very different person than I was 6 months ago. Yeah. Like, I've changed my mind about a lot of things. I've changed my perspective on so many things. I've learned so many things.
I don't know if everybody knows that, though. I think people often, especially when you're looking at your partner, think,
oh, yeah,
this is the same person.
I think many of us know how we've changed.
Yes.
But we think everybody else was like finished and done 10 years ago. Totally. And they're fully self-actualized and self-realized. But we know how changing and moving and dynamic we are. Now, what if, I think this is where kids can be beautiful teachers, because they're, particularly when they're like 3. I remember I would travel for business and I'd be gone for like 5 days and I'd come home and be like, you're like noticeably different. Like,
totally. Even now at 12, different. There are times where I'm like, what happened to you this weekend?
Yeah. Well, we got this great digital frame, and we have it loaded up with all sorts of family pictures, and it's in our like kitchen to our dining room. So I see it all the time. And it's such a juxtaposition to see this picture of my daughter when she's 3, taking this huge bite out of this donut that's like bigger than her head and just so full of joy. And then to watch this 14-year-old in a ponytail walk through and just be like, how is that the same organism?
Yeah.
Like,
how is that the same being?
And just for me, how yesterday the 3-year-old is.
Yeah.
Like I know her in some ways. I know her better than I know this 14-year-old in my kitchen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I was thinking, and then, we come into our adult lives and we think, oh, well, at 25, 26, the frontal cortex is fully formed and, we are who we are. Yeah. And I think that can't be farther from the truth.
Yeah. I was in grad school and I was going to a wedding, and to get to the wedding, I went to my grandfather's house and he was going to drive me to the airport. He was like 74 at the time. And he said, well, what are you doing in grad school? And I said, well, I'm helping college students figure out who they are. I thought he's going to be so impressed. Like he's going to be like, wow, that's amazing. And he wasn't. He just sat there as he was driving. He said, wow, that's interesting. I think I'm still trying to figure out who I am. And I just remember looking at him like, you were supposed to be impressed. And instead you're thinking about these college students.
Right. Is that what I wanted?
And then just looking at him and going, I have to do this for the rest of my life. Like I thought I just had this figured out and now I was done and now I knew and now I'm good. And he was like, yeah, first I, grew up in Pueblo, Colorado and then I was a minister and then I realized I didn't believe in any of that while I was officiating my father's funeral. And,
wow.
And then I met your grandma and then we got married. Then we had 5 kids and then we got divorced. And then I sold real estate and now I sell funeral plots and that's really real estate. And now I'm done with doing that. So now I mow the lawn and read the paper.
Now what do I want? And who am I? And discovering, always discovering, if we're open to that. I think the death of a lot of relationships is that it's risky for us to grow if we don't know if we're going to grow together, right? I think I see a lot of people who it's like, that's threatening if my partner grows in that way, because I don't know if they're still going to choose me versus the version of them right now is the one that does choose me. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think the difference between couples growing apart versus growing together, I think is really different. And I think when one partner changes and the other partner doesn't, they're both resentful. Like, why aren't you changing? This was the deal. And the other person's like, why are you changing? This was the deal.
This was the deal. Exactly.
And they both resent the other for not sticking to the deal.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I can feel the multi-layered, wisdom, I will say, right? Because there's wisdom in even being who you want the other to be, and then doing that from a place of, all right, now I'm going to co-create something in my relationship and I'm going to do this to create change. And we can go even deeper, like you said, into just who am I being and how do I take 100% responsibility for my life and my relationship and how I show up and what I create around me. So thank you for continuing to, go deeper and deeper into this one.
Yeah, my pleasure. And I think that practicing is really great. And that 100% responsibility is also super helpful.
Yeah.
Because I always think about that as my side of the street and your side of the street. Like, I'm just going to worry about my side of the street.
Yeah.
And I'll let you worry about your side of the street.
Right. Which, again, could be misconstrued by someone listening of like, oh, I'm not going to take care of the person on the other side of the street or my partner, but that's not what you mean.
No, I'm going to worry about how I take care and not how you should be and how you should show up and when you should do. But I'm going to be like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to manage this. And I need time alone. So I'm going to go be alone.
Yeah.
Rather than, why don't you give me time to be alone?
Right. Thank you for clarifying.
Right. Yeah.
Any last thing that's on your mind or your heart before we wrap up? And then you can tell people where to find you. Yeah,
I think I just want to share, this connects to one of the concepts from my book that came on the research with men later in life, with this notion of becoming, which we've in many ways been talking about this whole time.
Yeah.
And becoming was this combination of exploring identity, who we are and who we aspire to be.
Yeah.
And then, how am I doing? And I would have thought that it would be linear, like we'd figure out who we aspire to be and then we try and do that and fail and try and do better. But the research really showed me there was much more of a conversation between our identity and our integrity. It was our aspirations informed our doing, but how we were doing also informed our sense of self.
Yes.
And so I might say I'm an honest person and then realize I've lied 3 times this week. So am I no longer an honest person, or am I an honest person? I just need to do better.
Yeah.
Or I know I'm just not a very good listener. I'm just not a very good listener, but then people keep telling me they feel seen and heard by me. So maybe that's no longer true. Maybe I am maybe I need to change my identity.
Right.
Yeah.
who I
And
see
so I
myself.
just love that notion of identity and integrity about who we aspire to be and how we're doing flowing into each other. And I sort of see it as this infinity loop kind of feeding into each other. And I call that whole thing the process of becoming.
Mm.
And on the doing side, it's practice,
Yep.
as you pointed to. It's practice.
Yep.
It's listening. It's all these ing terms: loving, being present, appreciating. Right? These are some of the things.
Yep.
It's the practice of doing them,
Yep.
imperfectly and messily, and trying. And trying again.
And trying again.
And
not trying to get it right or thinking you have to be perfect.
Right.
Because, right, that's just a recipe for feeling awful about yourself.
Yes.
And not try, right? And then I think when there's something I feel like I need to be perfect at, then I don't try or I don't bring myself to it because I'm already feeling defeated.
Yeah. Yeah. And that fear of falling short of perfection keeps us safe. Yeah. Like, if you just don't do anything, if you don't try, you can't
there is a kind of safety in that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
How can people find your work?
The best way to find my work is keithedwards.com. One of the things you'll find there is information about my book, Unmasking, also my work around empowering better tomorrows through leadership, learning, and equity. And my favorite thing is I send a weekly newsletter every Tuesday morning with my latest thinking around leadership, learning, and equity. And as a bonus, once a month, the first Saturday of the month, I share all the best things I'm learning or enjoying, which are often podcasts and blog posts and articles, or TV shows and music and poetry and nature and things like that.
Fantastic.
It's totally free, and so people want to connect there. It's a great little way for us to connect and to be in community together.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks, Shana.
I'm so glad you joined us for today's episode of Practicing Love. I hope you enjoyed our conversation and gained insight into yourself and your current and past relationships and inspiration for what's possible. If you like what you heard, I'd be so grateful for you to subscribe and write a quick review to help people find us. If you'd like more support in your love life, be sure to get your free copy of my best-selling book, Honest Sex, at shanajamescoaching.com/free. That's shanajamescoaching.com/free. And we'll see you next time.